What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Changing the Game with G-Lew and the beautiful Deandra Chanel. We are back once again for another episode. Good evening, everyone. What's up, Deandra?
Man. This is gonna be one for the books. I'm excited.
I'm definitely excited tonight for our special guest, man. I really am.
You have no idea how surreal it is to interview your high school crush.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
I'm excited and nervous at the same time. So let's do this.
Wow. Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest because he is here.
Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce the legendary Noel G.
The legend. What's up, big dog?
Hello.
What up? What up? How you guys doing? You guys good?
Doing
Good.
great.
How are you?
I'm straight. What's cracking?
The
Thank
legend.
you for coming on.
All love, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
All love.
So I actually want to get into a few things. So you are from Orange County originally, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in Orange County and then you guys moved when you were very young, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background for those of us who don't know.
Yeah, I grew up in Orange County. Up to the age of 13 years old, I didn't grow up poor. I grew up in a middle-class home, had toys in my room, clothes in my closet, food on the table, everything was straight. It was good. And then one day my dad, I don't know what happened to him or what. He was just an angry guy, hated his life, worked television. And one day he just decided to pick up and go and bounced on me at 13. And so at 13 years old, within a 2-week time frame, and I'm cutting out a bunch of fat here, I went from a middle-class home to nothing but the clothes on my back and living in the streets. And that's kind of where the real journey began. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know what else to really say unless, ask some questions, though.
Well, I find it interesting. So you are Mexican, Italian, and Puerto Rican.
I'm Baskin Robbins. I'm 31 flavors.
So when you're cast, has there ever been have you ever had the urge to be cast in another way aside from a Cholo or Mexican role? Have you ever wanted to play like an Italian or a Puerto Rican?
Well, I don't even consider myself in my heart, I grew up around Mexican Americans my whole life. So that's all I know and have known. So I don't even consider myself, on the Puerto Rican side or the Italian side, because to keep it 100, I don't know anything about that. All I know is Mexican American because that's how I grew up, where I grew up, living in the streets and all that. So really, to be honest, I could play different roles, but, I've always played primarily the roles that you have seen. I just started branching out a little bit, playing some different roles, but if we're being honest, in 100, 80% of my roles have always been, me, the way I grew up in real life, the way I am in real life. And so, it's kind of funny. It's like I tell people, if I got to play a doctor, now I'm acting. You know what I'm saying? But all the roles I've been playing, they're pretty simple. So it's all good. But I'm like, hey, as long as the check clears, I'm straight.
Do you feel like you're typecast?
Yeah. And, that's why I started a production company to start giving myself other roles where, people really couldn't see me in. And I believe in, if no one gives you the chance, give yourself the chance. You know what I'm saying? If no one provides opportunity for you, provide it for yourself. So that's why I started a production company where now I'm starting to play different roles. I got some movies where I play a police officer. I got some other movies where, I just play a casual guy, no street, whatever, just casual dude. Another role where I play a terrorist. So, I've been playing some different roles where just a janitor in one of them, just trying to switch it up a little bit.
And this is the Entangled Entertainment, right?
Right. Damn, you did your homework, girl. You know what's up.
How long?
This is like one of the very few interviews where they got down to the deets. Like, you did your homework.
Hey,
I'm like,
hey, homie, she said you were her high school crush, bro. So you know she did her homework. Homie, come
I,
on.
hey, I'm crushing on her right now. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm just like, nah, you did your homework straight up, because I do a lot of interviews and they don't even get that deep like that or bring stuff like that up. So that's crazy. That's what's up.
No, how long have you had this production company?
I've had it for a while, but we've only done 2 projects, working on our 3rd right now. So, but you know, it was just kind of crazy because I'm a procrastinator, if we're being straight up, and I wasted a lot of time. And you know, when I started getting my feet wet, I had other projects on the plate, and you know, I was at a point where I had, which is a good problem to have. I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that I had so much to do, I didn't know what to do. And so, you know, the production company has always been there, but we never really started actually producing stuff till later. And when we started producing, we did one project like every, you know, 2 to 3 years. So that was a part of the problem. But now we're really getting heavy into it. Now we're moving fast.
So based off of the characters that you've played, because you've played a lot of the Cholo role, and you're known, there's always the running joke that you're Hector in every movie, right? I recently saw your current project with Sam's Cry, and that's obviously a completely a role on the other side of things. What would you say would be your favorite role to play? Would it be being yourself, or would it be playing a whole different character?
I mean, I like both. You know, it's kind of a hard question to answer because I love challenging myself and I love playing roles that people wouldn't normally see me in or think that I could play. So I love playing different roles just because of that. But at the same time, I love playing the thug and the bad guy because someone got to do it and get it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter to me, but I admire and love actors who can change from one thing to another, like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington and actors like that who have brought their A game from this to that. And so, you know, I like that stuff. I like switching it up. I don't like playing the same role all the time, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't play the same role all the time. But if I get something different, yeah, why not? I'm with it.
How did it feel to work side by side with the legendary Denzel Washington when you played in Training Day?
Oh, it was like, you know, that was at the beginning of my career, so it was unreal. You know, I was asking myself questions like, do I deserve to be here? I can't believe I'm here. Is this really happening? You know, things like that. So, I mean, you know, at that time, because I was just starting out and I was just getting my feet wet, you know, it was like, damn, like I got to bring my A game and be really focused here. So I really learned how to discipline myself, you know, and my job is kind of crazy because sometimes you work and sometimes you don't work. And so my point in saying that is that when I was shooting that movie, I disciplined myself. I wasn't really partying and acting a fool as hardcore as I would and was when I wasn't filming. You get what I'm saying? I was still partying, but I just lessened it a little bit less so I could be on point when it was time to do my thing in the flick. So, you know, just, you know, I was like, man, I got to keep up with Denzel. You know what I'm saying? And in my humble opinion, I think Denzel Washington should have won the Academy Award way before that film.
Facts.
But, you know, whatever. I'm glad that I was in the film that he did win it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what made it even that much more so iconic and so much more of a film. But at the same time, the blessing in that film was it was the first film ever where Denzel Washington played a bad guy. All his other films before that, he was a good guy. It was his first film ever where he played a bad guy. So to be a part of those two past, you know, what do you call it, experiences or whatever, like, hell yeah, like I'll take that ride any day.
So actually,
I didn't know that. Sorry.
No, you're good. There's I don't know if you're a fan of Jadakiss, but he has this song called Why, where he says, why did Denzel have to be crooked before he took it? Do you feel that that's kind of a negative connotation, the fact that he had to play a bad guy in order to get this role? I mean, to get this award.
Well, yeah, like I said already, that he should have won the Academy Award way before that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a comment on that because I can't really. I don't know. That's a good one. I just I just think there's a lot of actors or actresses who maybe should have won the awards way before they won them. You know what I'm saying? And so from the outside, not knowing the inside truth, because one thing that I call it Hollywood, just so we're clear, I call it Hollywood, is one thing I learned with Hollywood is that really, what do you honestly know about anything or anyone unless you were either personally involved or personally know that person? And what I'm saying in a nutshell is you don't know a damn thing about anything, period, unless you personally know that person or were personally involved in that situation. You really don't know jack diddly squat. All you know is what was presented on Front Street. So by the outside in, looking from the outside in, do I believe that a lot of the things were unfairly done? Absolutely, from what I was able to see. But I don't really know nothing, and I can't confirm nothing because I wasn't personally involved to know. Does all that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So one more thing before I kick it over to my co-host. So technically,
You gonna let him speak finally? No, I'm just playing.
I am. I might.
No, I'm just playing. Go ahead.
You, in a sense, there was this young lady, her family, and by the grace of God, you got into acting at the age of 15 because of your circumstance. It's always been said that normally it takes a tragedy to receive a miracle, in a sense. So I wanted to, for those who don't know, I know you've interviewed about this before, but I wanted to talk about how you got into acting, and it was kind of by the grace of God that you became an actor by mistake, right?
I would say, God's watching over everybody, period. But until we give God that attention, you're never going to know what he wanted or wants for you. And so I never gave God that attention. And then when I did give him finally my intimate time, my attention, gave in to him, started doing it his way instead of my way, my life took a whole different route. And so I say that to say that God always has our back, but it's just, when are you going to wake up and accept him having your back?
Preach.
And that's when I finally accepted it and realized, like, yo, God, I'm better with you than without you.
Absolutely.
Man.
So you lived with this family at the age of 15 after the whole situation with your parents, and you had a girlfriend, am I correct? That was trying to be an actress, a model, and she took you on an audition with her.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit more.
So yeah, long story short, I was dating this girl at the time, and when I started living with her, it's not like she was like serious hardcore about it, but that was just one of her dreams at the time. When you're a kid, you dream big. You want to be this, you want to be that. And one of her dreams was, I want to be on TV. So one day she took me to an acting class with her. I went to this acting class with her. I could care less about it at the time. I didn't even think at the time I was worthy of being anything or doing anything, because I was homeless at the time. I had no money. I was struggling. I didn't know what was what. I didn't know what to do. And long story short, I just kissed her butt because I finally had a roof over my head. And I always thought that if I got her mad, I'd no longer have a roof over my head. So if we're keeping it 100, I did everything to do to keep her happy, because I never wanted her running to dad and have me kicked out of the house. So I pretty much, was quote unquote like her pet. Like, excuse my French here, I was a little bitch to her because I wanted to keep this roof over my head, because I knew what homeless was, because I was homeless for 2 years and I was so happy to have a roof over my head finally, that I didn't want to lose that. So long story short, I go with her to this acting class. I'm just cutting out some of the fat now, getting to the bone. Right place, right time. I was in this class. I thought everybody was dorks and nerds, and I just started talking smack because I'm from the streets and I'm running my mouth. And right place, right time. It was a producer who was scouting talent. He said, "Hey, you want to be in a commercial?" And I thought he was on some BS. I was like, "Whatever." I ended up giving him my phone number. It ended up being real. And long story short, 2 weeks later, I found myself doing a commercial for Taco Bell.
Wow.
And the way they pay you for a commercial, and a lot of people don't know this, is every time they show the commercial, you get a check. So they were running this commercial for one year almost. I only worked one day of my life. I was getting paid for a whole year for 1 day's work. I went from pretty much nothing to bling bling overnight. And I didn't know about that. I thought it was a computer mess up, but it's residual checks. And so long story short, I called the producer. I'm like, "Why I keep on getting paid for this commercial?" He's like, "Oh, that's the way actors get paid." I said, "What?" I said, "Well, I want to be an actor." Wow. So to end the story, what I can honestly say, when I first got into acting, it was all about the money, because I had never made so much damn money so quickly. But as I started doing it, I started loving the business, because, it's never the same thing. I'm always working in a different place, working with different people. It's always walking into something different. You don't know what's going to happen. So the way I say I'm in the best, worst, best business ever. And so that's what's up. And that's how the acting kicked off, And then the dad who took me in at the time was a pastor for a church. And that's why he took me into his home. And he told me straight up, he's like, "If you're going to live in this home with this family, we serve God. We serve the Lord here." I said, "Homie, I hear the word of anything. I just want a roof." And so I started living with this family, was serving God. It was the first time ever in my life that I saw real love, structure, order in a family. And I wanted that. But I'll be real, when the money came in, that was another reason why I wanted to stay at the house so bad, because I felt so loved and so accepted. And what happened was, I'm going to end the story here. Don't give me a mic. I'll talk forever.
Yeah, talk, homie. Talk, homie.
What ended up happening was, as I was living in this home, like I said, and it's funny in life, because a lot of people will live their life out of order, but they want to be blessed. Yeah. And God cannot bless what's out of order. The more you put your life into order, that's when God pours in the blessings. The best way to say it is, a lot of people, they chase the blessings of the world instead of the blesser. And if you chase the blesser, the blessings of the world, they'll come chasing you. You don't got to go chasing them. And so what happened was, but I'll keep it 100. When the money poured in, I turned my back on God.
You don't know how to act.
I said, "Thanks for, giving me what I need. I don't need you no more." And when I saw the short skirts and the partying and the money rolling in, I said, "I'm out, God." And I turned my back on God. And for like 20 years, my life was a party. Anything that you could pretty much think of, I'd been there, done, did it. The way I say it, and I just say it humbly. We're just sharing truth here. So I can't say it any other way. I'm just saying it the way that it really was. Is I had the quote unquote fame to do it. I had the money to do it, and the connections to do it. So I did it. And I was partying, acting a fool. And then in 2008, enough was enough. I threw in the towel. I came back to God full force. And that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so anyways, that's how I got into the acting. And, it all started just right place, right time. It was like literally winning the lottery, but I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't thinking about it. I never even thought someone like me could even be on TV. I never even thought that. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the last thing I was ever thinking on my mind. But, our business is crazy, because you could have murdered someone did 25 years in prison, and they'll make you a movie star and pay you $1 million, but you can't go get a job at Walmart or Target on a cash register. We in the most backwards, upside down business ever. You know, it's funny to me. So, anyways, man, but yeah, I could go on and on. But anyways, go ahead, because I'm gonna shut up now because I keep on talking. But go ahead. What's up?
I'm gonna kick it over to my co-host, but in a little bit, I want to talk about the way out.
Wow.
G-Lew.
Man, Noel G, again, blessing to have you here. It just seems to me, before I jump into my questions, right, it just seems to me with your testimony, I love hearing great testimonies like yourself, homie. But it seems to me that it seems like you probably know this now, but it seems to me that God had a calling, like you were called early and you just probably didn't know it. You know what I mean? Being introduced to everything you did, how you were placed in the home with the preacher and all this, and how you got these blessings, because even how you got into acting, bro, it's like a lot of people, it seems like you were with the right people placed into the acting because they could have effed over you, you know what I mean, and not told you what you need to know. Like you said, you got paid from the commercials. Like I'm sure they could have ganked you. You know what I mean? It seems like a lot of things were set in place for you already, homie, that you probably did not know, that you overlooked. But now that you've come back full circle and welcome God in your life fully, you probably understand these things now. So I kind of want to get that out the way first. Is that somewhat truth, would you say?
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, you know, God always has a plan for your life, but sometimes you never know until you know.
Right.
And, you know, that's why I tell people, like, the more they get to know God intimately and get to know his word and just get to know him, you know, I even start off by saying this. I start off and tell people, don't even trust God right now. I'll tell you straight up, don't even trust him. Just get to know him first. Just get to know him. Just chop it up with him. Get to know him. And after you get to know him, then you'll start trusting him. Mm-hmm. And what do you do when you start trusting someone? You start having love for that person.
Right.
And then eventually, what do you do when you start having love for someone? You fall in love with them, or you love them, however you love them. And what do you do when you really genuinely love someone? You don't want to hurt who you love. You might backstab some other people and whatever, but you ain't going to backstab the one you really care about.
Facts.
And a lot of people, they don't even know God yet, to trust God yet, to love God yet. That's why they don't care who they're hurting. When God's their real father/creator, and that's how loving God is. God don't care how many times you backstabbed him, not listened to him, not did it his way, not cared about him. He said, I'm still here. I'm still waiting for you. Open arms and everything. Let's go. When you ready, I've been ready. You know what I'm saying? And God is the most gangster dude in the world, because he said it real clearly. God said it. I don't know how much more clear he could have made it than this. God said it himself. If you reject me, I reject you. So he's not, and you know,
he said it's up to you.
It's up to you. It's free will. And that's why, and God don't force nothing upon no one. You know why? Because if he forced something upon someone, it wouldn't be real.
Right.
It's got to come from the heart.
That's a fact.
You either make the choice to believe or not believe. You make the choice to trust or not trust. But you can't decide if you're deciding right until you get to know him. Because if you don't know him, you don't know him yet. And that's it. And that's why if you don't know him, you'll always be doing it your way instead of his way, period.
That part. That's it. That's all. Hey, man, I don't know if you are already doing this, but I think your calling too is to preach the word too. Have you already been doing that, or is that something you see in the future, homie? I can see you up in that pulpit speaking to the people who need to hear it, not just your average preacher, homie. I could just see you doing that in the future, homie. Is that something in your future?
No, that's kind of the direction that I wanted to start taking anyways, to be honest with you, is, I just keep it 100. I tell people, you're going to hate me for two reasons. You're going to hate me because I was too truthful with you and you couldn't handle it, or you just came up with your own story on why you hate me. Because I just don't care anymore. And that's where I'm at. I really just don't care, man. And that's why I said Hollywood has taught me something that, I laugh at this stuff, and I'm going to keep it 100 with you. There's a lot of people that I see people cheering and clapping for and yelling for and screaming at and all this stuff, and they're loving them. And I laugh because I'm like this. If you knew them behind the curtain the way that I know them, you might not be clapping for them. You might not be cheering for them.
Yep.
And one of the blessings that I got to see is a lot of behind the curtain stuff. And so that's why I said the bottom line is, if you don't know someone personally, or you have not been involved in that situation personally, you honestly don't know a damn thing about anything or nothing, to keep it 100 with you. All you know is what was presented to you. And that's why even like I tell people who are even watching me, podcasts, interviews, all that, I care less, because people can say whatever they say. You know what I thank them for now, though? I thank you for saying the right thing, but I don't know if you really walk the walk the way you talk in the talk.
Right.
Because I don't know you personally to really know that about you. So I go, man, I thank you for saying what's right, but I don't know if I can get behind you yet, because I don't really know you personally to know if I can really get behind you to stand up for what you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why I just laugh, man. There's so many things, and that's why I tell people, like, with what's going on in the world today and the news and all this stuff, we all know it's all, and now people are starting to speak up. I just want to make this clear. I was speaking up 15 years ago, but now it's different because we got social media.
Right.
And now you can see a lot more than what you were able to see.
Right.
But I'm just making a point. So
Sometimes
like
more
when
than
I
you
see
want to
people, say it again.
I said sometimes more than you want to see.
That's what I'm talking about. And now even when you see stuff on tape, people are questioning, was that real?
Right.
Did that really happen?
Right.
Like, people don't know. And so that's why I'm trying to say, man. And now with AI, like, I could put both of you in a video having sex together. And you could be right there being like, nah, it wasn't us. I got the video. And now you fighting a new fight.
Right. That's dangerous.
Like,
AI is dangerous.
It's out there, man.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say straight up, man, like, people got to get to know God personally, because God said it himself. If you do not know the truth of God, you can be manipulated. You will be deceived. You will be tricked. You will buy into the lie. And so, I don't know, Hollywood has shown me a lot, man, that, I got to see. And that's why I said, again, if you don't know someone personally, or we're not involved in the situation personally, you really don't know jack crap about nothing.
Wow. Shout out to Isiah Paramount. Thank you, brother. Hey, man, Noel, you're so deep, homie. I can't even really get to what I want to get to. I want to ask you some stuff, but it's just like, man, you take it.
And I'm sorry to cut you, man. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of conservative, safe Christianity speakers or talkers or whatever. Like, I'm tired of playing it safe. I care less, dog. That's why I said, like, they gonna hate me for two reasons: because I was too truthful and you couldn't handle it, or you just came up with your own story on why you hate me. Because I care less, man. I tell people straight up what it is. I can care less. And God himself said, it's not me you hate, it's the Jesus inside of you, that inside of me, that you hate. So I take it. He took a lot more for me. I was ready to die for a street that I don't even own.
Right.
A neighborhood where homies are cracked out, methed out.
Right.
They don't even, like, the neighborhood is whack now. I say my own neighborhood whack now. Right. If some of the homies knew what they died for, if they were still alive today and knew what they died for, they wowould turn over in their grave and be like, damn, I died for that? For what's going on now? You guys, like, it's lame now, dog.
Preach.
This whole world is lame.
Preach, homie. You taking us to church tonight, homie. All factuals, man. Let me get to some of this, man, before, because I know people want to know too. But me personally, man, first and foremost, even having you on here, I was so excited. I told Deandra, because I'm sure a lot of people tell you, but Training Day not only was a great movie, obviously puts you on the map, but that happens to be personally my favorite movie. You know what I mean? Not only just because you're here, but my favorite movie, period. And you were in there, bro. And like you said, you were new to acting then. You're obviously in a movie and a script with a lot of decorated actors, Denzel being one of the best ever. I mean, let's just keep it facts. But you had the other guy, the co-actor, can't think of his name right now. Ethan Hawke. Then you have the director Antoine Fuqua. You have so many great layers of stuff for you coming into the game that early and being on such a big production. Did you know at that time how serious it was? And after the fact, did you know the impact you had as your role, bro? Because you were new, but you had a real heavy impact in that movie. Like everyone remembers you personally from that movie, bro, for the role you played.
I knew how big of a film it was because Denzel was in it. So I mean, anything with Denzel attached, you automatically know that it's something. You feel me? So that part I knew. As far as all the other stuff of having an impact, this, that, and the other, I never really thought of it that way. I thank you for saying that, but I just came in and did what I did and let it be what it was gonna be. And that's how I always do my stuff because I never wanted to, allow myself or let myself get big headed or whatever. Like I seen some of that already early on in the game. And I seen some people come into the game who once were, and then I'm like, damn, man, now that you're kind of making it or have made it, you're not who you were, who I met. And so
Right.
that's why I say, like, what I say about the personally stuff or whatever. But I just, went in there and I just wanted to do my best because I knew I was with some of the greats, because I know whoever Denzel surrounding himself with is going to be someone or something or
Right.
somebody. And so I was like,
Right.
man, I better bring my A game on this one. So that's why I said earlier, I came in a lot more disciplined. I came in a lot more focused, instructed. There was still some clowning around and, because I was still.
Oh, he got muted.
Yeah,
Unmute your mic. Your mic. He muted himself. Unmute your mic if you can. Because I can't do. He has his mic muted.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you
My
go.
bad, dog. I got a phone call.
It's all good, bro.
But yeah, I was like, I knew a phone call was gonna drop, but we in the middle.
It's all good.
But yeah, long story short though, man, I just came in a lot more disciplined because I knew who I was around and what it could be and what it was probably gonna be, which it was.
Right, right. And man, I'm sure after the fact, I mean, obviously, because you got a million roles after that, but how long did it take for you to realize the impact you had? Because I know personally sometimes you don't know, but I'm sure after that role hit, bro, in that movie, you were getting love not only from Hollywood, but definitely from the streets. Because I know the streets loved you. You were getting love from, I'm sure, all the homies, everyone. How did that impact you personally?
It's kind of funny because you start funny things start happening to you, and
Right.
you really see how the world works when you really see how the world works. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Right.
I'll give you a little example. There were times that I'd be at a restaurant, for example, and the waiter would come over after I'm done eating and be like, hey, the manager knows that you're here and they just want to comp your bill. They just want to take some pictures with you. I'm like,
Right.
damn, man, like when I was poor, this is why the hell I was working so I could pay for this stuff. Now you're
Right.
giving it to me for free when I got the money to pay this time. You know what I'm saying? So it was little stuff like that that was starting to, happen where like, just I remember one time I was at a club and it was kind of funny. I'm standing in line and one of the security guys recognized me. He's like, "What are you doing in line, bro?" And I'm like, I'm in line like everybody else. What do you mean? What am I doing?" He's like, "Dude, you're a homeboy from such and such." And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you, bro." He's like, "Man, come on up to the front. Come up to the front. You shouldn't be waiting in line." And I'm
Right.
like, "Yeah, but I always roll deep, just like I said,
Right.
I was always 15, at least 15 deep." And I
Right.
was like, "Yeah, but I got like, I don't care who you with. Bring them all up to the front." All
Wow.
right, let's roll. So stuff like that started happening. And that's when you start noticing like, damn, man, like this is really happening. Like this is crazy. So, little things like that would happen, but I would always make sure and, I would always make sure and not let it get to my head. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but
Right.
that's when you start realizing like, but um, there's an old file and a new file. And my old file was, partying and acting a fool and drinking and smoking weed and hanging with the homies and if someone does something to you, get them back, revenge. And that was an old file. But as I started getting the new file of God, knowing God's word, I now operate in a new file.
Mm.
And so my new file gives different advice than what my old file would have given. And that's when I really want to consider much more my impact in the new file than the old file. And sometimes that's the problem with people in life. They'll go to other people with lives just as jacked up as their own
Right.
and expect good advice.
Right.
And you can't get good advice from someone else who has a life maybe as messed up as yours or even worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why, like I say it, like, in a war, the soldier complains to the captain complains to the general complains to the vice president, and the vice president to the president. Problems go up, they don't go sideways or down. And so that's why, I just tell people, like, when I started having a real impact was in 2009, 2010, when I started inquiring and knowing the word of God. And that's when I would say the real impact started, because my old file would give some terrible advice. But I thought, I'm from the streets and I know what's up and I'm giving you the best advice ever. But I found out that God's advice was better than Noel's advice.
Wow. That's deep right there, Noel. Let me ask you this, bro. Being that you got so much love from the streets, was it ever kind of like a flip side where you kind of got tested from the streets, where you get a lot of love, but then you get those dudes that
Oh,
want to.
yeah, of course. You always gonna have a knucklehead or two that want to, try to do whatever they do. And yeah, that got dealt with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've had a couple situations where a homie used to come up and, what neighborhood you from? And he would
Right.
get into that stuff. And, it went down when it went down. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
that's one of the reasons why I always roll deep, because I just wanted to make sure, like,
Right.
I got my crew with me. So you mess with me, you messing with all of us now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. I want to ask you one more thing, and then I got some questions, but I don't know if Deandra wants to go first, but people in the comments got questions. But I want to ask you, what's your most personally, you've acted in a lot of great roles, homie. Another one I love, bro, and you had a small role, but I love that movie because it was a low-key movie, but it was hard. That one with the dude who played Batman. I
Oh,
forgot
yeah. Christian
Hi.
Bell.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
movie.
Batman Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, what was that name of that movie? I got it on DVD. That was hard.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know, man. They put a cholo in Gotham City. I don't know. But no, long story short, man, I did a movie with Christian Bell called Harsh Times,
Harsh
where he
Time.
played
That's it.
a crooked cop, this, that, and I spent like 2 weeks with him on set. We got tight, close, whatever. And long story short, he recommended me for Batman Dark Knight Rises, and that's how I got up in there.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Wow. Testimonies, man.
Well, that's why I say I don't care if it's this business or any other business, any business you in, the number one key to any business is personal relationships.
Right. Facts.
And that's how one led to the other. And, that's what's keeping me afloat today,
Right.
is just, personal relationships that I've developed and people that you're just concrete with and, just stay solid. And I always tell people, if you're someone of integrity, people just want to do favors for you.
Right.
And that's just how it works.
Right.
I learned this, man. It was funny. If you're one of these people who says, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I forgot. I'm sorry I'm forgot to do that email you told me about. I'm
Right.
sorry I forgot to make that phone call you told me to make." You just become a sorry worker.
Right.
And no one wants to work with sorry people. So if you're just someone of integrity, people want to do favors for you. They want to keep you around. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, if your strength is not in one thing, let them know straight up, straight out, hey, my strength, I'm not too good for that. That you might want to get someone else. You might want to get someone else in that department. But that there, oh, that's all me right there. That one I can handle. And if you're just an honest person and integrity with it, people just like you and want to do favors for you.
Right. That's a fact, homie. You preaching tonight, bro. Hey,
It's the best policy.
yes. One more question for me. Then I'll read a few questions, or if Deandra wants to go first, I'll read them later. But I want to ask you. So, I want to ask you personally, what is the most impactful role that you have played that you can remember?
Probably. Man, that's a good question, man. usually people say, "What's the most favorite movie you did?" I'm like, the one that pays the most.
Right.
Nah, but I really don't have an answer for that. To keep it real, man, I don't think I have yet. That's why I started the production company, though. I got one coming up, so maybe that's a question for the future. But as of right now, I haven't really done a movie that, you know, that I feel like, I made a change or something like that. But the movies that I'm about to do are going to start doing that.
Dope. Okay. I want to ask just a couple questions from the chat. If I can get across them. Go ahead. Go ahead, Deandra.
Are you able to see the questions in the chat, Noel?
I haven't been paying attention or seeing nothing really, to be honest. Nah.
The chat been giving you a lot of love. I can't even keep up with everything in here, but it's so much in here. I can't even find the questions.
Right now, I don't see nothing. I just
there's nothing up now. But you've been
I've been
getting
my DMs because my Instagram keeps on interrupting the. Like there goes one right there, and it just. But go ahead.
Okay. I was just trying to get a couple questions. Let me see. Go ahead, Deandra. I'm not ready. Let me get them in order first.
I watched an interview that you did that I found extremely interesting. You said, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said
you're wrong. You're wrong. I didn't say none of that. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
You feel like you've got more opportunities from Black and white people than the Chicano community. Do you remember this interview?
Oh yeah, 100%. I still say that to this day, till the day I die. I take that to the grave. Yeah.
So
I would have not got farther in this business if it wasn't for Black and white people than my own people, straight up.
Now that's my next question. Now there is this thing, Chicano Hollywood, right? That's how I got started in this industry as a stylist and as an interviewer, is starting with Chicano Hollywood and working my way up. Do you feel like the segregative part of having a Chicano Hollywood is a good or a bad thing?
No, I mean, for me, it's just kind of funny because we were pushing that 20 plus years ago. And it's just kind of funny. Like, I learned a lesson out of that too. I tell people, before you help anybody, you got to do a heart check and a personality check first. You got to know who you're helping and why. And I say all that to say, because it was funny, in the early days, we had a company called Suspect Entertainment. We were trying to put people on the map, Latinos primarily, and we weren't getting time of day. And there's a lot of Latinos now, and I'm not going to name names, but they're stepping forward and they're acting like, oh, I was always about the Latino people, and I've always been for our own culture and this, that, and the other. And no, you haven't, because you had power back then and you were able to do something back then, but you didn't do nothing back then. And what's the proof of that? The proof of that is where are all our Latino movies? Back then, there was 50 Black movie stars and 50 white movie stars, but there was only like 10 or less Hispanic movie stars. So, but now, because of social media, because there's so many of us and we cannot be ignored, now all of a sudden people want to come forward and be like, oh, I was always about the Latino people and I was always about helping our people. No, you weren't, because you had power back then. Why the hell didn't you do something back then? And once again, the proof is, where's our Latino movies from back then? There was hardly any. But people want to step forward now and act like they were always about it when they weren't about it. And so that's why it just bugs me. And that's why I say we're in the best business ever, because of how fake and how hypocritical it is. I had so many Latinos that I can name, but the only reason why I haven't said them publicly yet is because I'm the type of cat that I'm going to say it to your face first before I say it publicly. So they know when I see them where I see them. I don't know what's going to kick off, but something's going to kick off, because I'm going to let them know what time it is, man, because I'm just fake. I'm just so tired of the fakeness out there and the filth. And that's why I say we're in the worst business ever, because this business is so cutthroat, so two-faced, so much fake love. It's sick. It's disgusting. It just grosses me out. And so I sit here and I just laugh, and I'm just like, damn, bro, like, can you be any faker than you are to some of the women and the men? And they're just, it just disgusts me. And that's why, honestly, I really don't care about Hollywood, to keep it real with you, because the fakeness just pisses me off and grotesque. And that's why I say what I say. And again, the proof is, being quote unquote one of the Latino faces out there that was the most recognized back in the early days. How many people do you honestly think were coming up to me and saying, "Where's our Latino films? Where's our Latino films?" And they would say, "Why can't I be a Latino star?" And I was like, "You could do it." I go, "You just got to learn how to break down some of the barriers." I go, "Let me ask you something, bro. Why are there 50 black movie stars and 50 white movie stars, but when it comes to Latino, you can only name 10 or less?" I go, "Gee, you got to find a way to break that barrier." And it's just, anyways, man, it's just sad. So that's why I laugh. I just sit here and I'm like, dude, can you be any more faker? And that's why I say, like, when I watch podcasts and interviews, I just laugh at some of them, because I'm like, damn, bro, like, if they only knew you behind the curtain the way that I really know you behind the curtain, you're fake as hell. So that's why now, anybody I see on an interview, a podcast, whatever, I say, hey, thank you for saying the right thing. And thank you for saying what sounds correct. But behind the curtain, I want to cuss so bad right now, but I'm trying my hardest not to. And that's just where it's at, man. Like, I'm just so grotesque by our business. And I know, and yes, I know it's in any business, but it's in our business the most. It's pitiful. It's sad. People will cutthroat. They'll backstab you. They'll slice you. They'll act like they're all about it, this, that, and the other. They'll copy what others say. All this stuff just because they want to be famous that bad. It's disgusting. It's sick. And now you don't even need to have respect anymore to be someone. You just be whoever the hell you are. And it just is what it is. And that's the way our world works. It's just sad and pathetic and sorry. And I laugh at people who ride that roller coaster. And that's why, when you're real, you're going to stand alone. When you're real, it hurts. It's going to cut. That's why I wish Tupac was still alive. That's my boy. It's my piece.
Preach.
But anyways, man, but yeah, so I'm sorry, man. You hit a nerve there, but it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. I can't say it any other way. And that's why,
but taking us there tonight. You taking us there tonight, Noel.
Social media just changed the game, dude. That's all it did. It just changed the game. And and that's why, social media, you only see half of someone. Until you know them behind the curtain or know them for real, excuse my French, you don't know jack shit. You really don't.
This is the kind of show we got, G-Lew. It's always been that way.
I told you. Hey, man. Wow. Hey, let me ask a couple questions, because the chat is
But if
going
you want to
crazy.
be famous, though, or you want to be someone, a guy said something one time, with success comes haters. That's number one. Any type of success, you're going to have haters that come with. That's just the nature of the beast. I don't believe in don't bite the hand that feeds you, because if you don't bite the hand that feeds you, you were always fake, and they never liked you for you. They liked you for the fake you that you've always been showing and being. So that's why I just, it's just funny, man. Like, all these people, they're not behind companies now because one wants to stand for this or stand for that or stand. That's what I'm saying. Like, who do you know? Who do you really know who you're supporting? You don't know a damn thing about anything. And so that's why I just laugh, and I was making a point where, like, nowadays, if you want to be someone or whatever, someone said this, and I take no credit for this. This is what someone else said, but it's so beautiful. You just got to re-say it. He said, if you never want to be talked about, just be nothing, do nothing, and say nothing. And you'll never be talked about because you're not known to be discussed about. But if you're going to be out there and whatever, you're going to be talked about on whatever level it is. And so I just laugh because I was going to say, nowadays, all you got to do is be an idiot on Instagram, and you'll get paid. You'll be all right. You want to be famous, go to Burger King tomorrow and throw a register through the window. You'll get 1 million views easy. And then you'll get hired by some company just like that, because that's just how sorry the world is nowadays. That's just the world we live in. And all this is in the Word of God. Everywhere we're going, everywhere we're headed, everything that's happening. And I tell people, it's so funny. With everything that's going on in the world today, if you still don't believe in God with what's going on in the world today, I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't. But go ahead, G.
Man, that's deep, homie. I mean, I don't know, man. You taking me there tonight, bro. I can't even really keep up, man. I'm trying to. I just want to listen, man. But I know we got to get to it. Let me ask a couple questions from the chat. The homie Big D asked, "Did Noel go to acting?" I think you kind of answered this, but did Noel go to acting school, or how did he get introduced to acting? From Big D.
Yeah, I when I first started, I didn't really do acting classes and all that, but as I got deeper in the game, I did get an acting coach just so I could learn a few things. And I kind of just did it like that. But your best experience is being in the experience. Your best teacher is being in the experience. So I just kind of learned as I went because again, I was never really quote unquote acting. You know what I'm saying? I was always me. But hey, you give me a different name, you throw a camera on me, and now all of a sudden I'm acting. You get what I'm saying? So, I did get an acting coach for a little bit so I could kind of polish myself a little bit, know a little bit of this, that, and the other. But as far as like really taking an acting class and going full force like that, nah, I never took an acting class. But I give acting classes. I do acting classes. So if anybody interested in my acting classes, DM me on my Instagram at actor Noel G. I do charge, and I'll tell people why I charge, and because when we had our company back in the day, Suspect Entertainment, I used to help people for free. I used to help them for free. But here's what ended up happening. I would get backstabbed or two-faced. People would talk smack on me. And I'd be like, what? Like, you wouldn't even be in that room if it wasn't for me. Or even worse than that, I would have people that would quit on me when they found out that it wasn't as easy as they thought it was to get in the game. When I took them under my wing, put them under my shoulder. And I'm like, whoa, 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 you're going to quit on me? I just put a year, 2 years into you, blood, sweat, and tears, and now you're just going to cold turkey quit on me? What? So now, if you want to take my acting class, I charge you for it. You know why? Because I don't care if you backstab me, two-face me, or quit on me. I got paid for my time.
Hey, exactly. As you should. As you should, homie. And another thing.
And that's why I tell people, like, dog, you could have a good heart, but you got to know how to protect your heart.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So I tell people straight up, man, like, that's just the stuff you learn and experience, man. And, I've been so blessed to have so many experiences and see so much that's the only reason why I could talk like this, because of what I've seen and what I've been through and what I know that even if I was to tell you what I know and you don't believe me, I could care less because I know what the truth is. And so you just, at the end of the day, got to believe what you believe or don't believe. But that's why I sit here and I just laugh and I say, damn, man, when you're like that real, you're going to be alone. Because people are going to ride the wave. And, there's celebrity, I don't want to say the word, but there's celebrity beep writers. And that's what they are, dog. And I just laugh. I go, you're funny, homie. Like, you're the fakest of the fakest. And I don't know how you are where you're at. But people will kiss ass to the fake ones because they got all these connections and they don't want to, like, they don't want to blow the connection or whatever. But it's like, damn, like, it's just, we're in a sorry ass business, bro. Like, I can't even hold it in no more.
Right. And that ain't even Hollywood. That's just in real life now, too. Hey, but,
you ain't lying, bro.
Hey, check this out. Let me ask this one. I'm gonna go back to SGV Aaron, but Denise asked a good question. She said, what role would you not take or turn down now that you're a Christian or turned over a new leaf? Is there any role that you won't play?
This comes with no judgment at all. To each their own. Do what you do. I do what I do. But I will never play a gay guy. I'll never play a lesbian. I'll never play a transvestite. I'll never play any roles like that. Those are just some roles I just wouldn't do. And again, to each their own, but you're not going to find brokeback gangsters here.
Preach. Come on, preach. My bad. Hey, I don't even know. Go ahead, Deon. Here's some more questions. One more. SGV Aaron. I got to get this because he asked this earlier. That's the homie.
I'm like Dave Chappelle, man, on YouTube. He said, you ain't putting the dress on the black man.
Come on, man.
I'm like Dave Chappelle. You ain't putting the dress on this Latino right here.
Hey, SGV Aaron asks, who was an inspiration to you as a youngster, as an actor? Is there any actors that you looked up to as a youngster, and then when you grew up, maybe,
There wasn't. There's only one actor only that I would get like oh my God over it. I might turn into like a little fan in front of, like, there's only one actor only where I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on set with this fool. And I hope I get him before he passes away. But the only actor that I would ever in my life be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on set with this guy is Al Pacino.
Oh,
Other than Al Pacino,
yeah,
like, I
yeah.
don't really care. You know, I mean, there was some other oh my
De
God
Niro,
ones, but it
De
was like,
Niro.
it wasn't like, but Al Pacino, I might be like that stuttering fool.
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
For sure, I get it. Oh, and Spanks, one more. Spanks asked about. He said you worked with one of his homeboys named Manny, and are you still in contact with him? That was his homeboy.
Oh yeah. That's who we did that's who started the with me. There's four of us who started Suspect Entertainment. It was myself, Manny, Enrique, and Juice. Though it was the four of us who started Suspect Entertainment, and me and Manny still stay in touch to this day.
Okay, cool. All righty. Hope I answered everyone's questions. Go ahead, Deandra.
I wanted to talk about The Way Out. So I think you're acquainted with Anthony Fernandez, yes?
Oh yeah, that's my boy. Okay, yeah, that's my boy.
We had him on the show some time ago.
Okay.
And I was asking him about how he feels of the epidemic that there once was, where all like the guys who were street guys started getting into acting. It seemed like they all just came at the same time. What do you think was the cause of that? Like why they Hollywood instead of another industry like construction or something like you always see?
Everyone's an individual case. So, I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. But, I think, people mature at different ages. Some people mature at 20, some at 25, some at 35. You just never, everyone's an individual case. So I think, when someone realizes enough is enough, or, sometimes it's sad to say some people got to hit rock bottom before they look up or realize there is an up or a way out. And, for me, it kind of was that. There was a point in my life where I hit rock bottom and I really thought that my life was going in a direction that I wondered, how the hell did I get here? And it was because I was making a lot of unconscious decisions. And so I think when we start learning to make conscious decisions, that's when our life starts turning around, because now we're aware of what it is we're deciding to do and what we want to do and how we're going to react in a situation. I always tell people straight up, I learned a life lesson, and the life lesson is as simple as this: if it feels wrong, it's wrong. So if it don't feel right, you shouldn't be doing it. If it feels wrong, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But there's some people where they are still living without a conviction because they don't care what they're doing, period. And it doesn't feel wrong to them. Wrong feels right to them. You see what I'm saying? So until that conviction hits that individual, I don't think anybody starts really turning their life around. Hopefully they don't get to the bottom point to start doing it, but hopefully, because that's the last place you want to be, because sometimes you might reach rock bottom where you can't pull yourself out and you don't find a way out, if you get too deep. Or it's like someone who commits murder and now they're getting a 25-year sentence. It's like, damn, you're still that's great you turned your life over to God, and it's great that you want to be a better person now, but you're still going to have to do the 25 years for what you did.
Right.
You're still going to have to serve the punishment out for the crime. You feel me?
Right.
So I just think that, it was at a place where I really hit a spot in my life, and I wondered, how the hell was I on the top of everything and got to the bottom of everything now? And that's when I realized I had to come back to Jesus and had to come back and start getting my life into order. And that's why I tell people, whenever you're doing it without Jesus, that's why you're in the circumstance, and that's why you're in the position that you're in now. And now when you want to get out of it, what you have decided to do now is face your problems. Now you decided to now it's not like you just waited for the problem to knock at your door and now I'll deal with it when I got to deal with it, because now it's here and there's nothing I can do other than deal with it. When you start serving God, you're like, I'm going to deal with it before it gets to that point. So you always got to go through the tornado before you see the sunset. You know what I mean? And that's why God talks about being reborn again in the flesh, because Sometimes God wants to let you get destroyed so he can rebuild you back up into what you're meant to be and supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And bring those gifts outside of you. But you'll never see those gifts that are inside of you until you start getting your life together to see clearly of what gift God always had for you. And so that's why I just, that's why there is a way out. But people are going to have to be accepting of that way out. They're going to have to want that way out. They're going to have to know that they're going to have to start changing their environment. They're going to have to start changing the way they speak. They're going to have to start renewing their mind. They're going to have to start renewing their friends. They're going to have to cut some things out of their life that they shouldn't be doing. They're going to have to turn bad habits into good habits. They're going to have to start. And that's why we cannot do it without God. That's why God makes it very clear that we can't do it. We can only do it on his strength. You know why almost everything is a sin in this world? Is because God wanted to show you that you'll never be perfect. You'll never meet the circumstances of what I've set out for you. And that's why you always need God. That's why God made almost everything in this world a sin. Eating chocolate cake is a sin. But this is what people have to understand though. When you stand before God, ask yourself, what do you want to answer to him for? I'd rather answer for eating chocolate cake than committing murder. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're standing before God, ask yourself, what do I really want to answer to God for? And God will know. And in serving God, you know what the proof of God is? The proof of God is the transformation in someone's lifestyle. If there's no transformation in someone's lifestyle, then that's where you question, are you really serving God? You really about God? It's like in the streets. Don't talk about it, be about it. So.
Oh my God.
There is
Mason,
a way out.
All night, homie.
People just got to want it.
Hey, Noel, let me ask you this before I forget. Big D asked a good one. He said, what is a good go-to scripture that you can recommend, or one of your go-to scriptures in the Bible, homie?
I go to Hebrews 11.
Okay.
We live by faith, things that we cannot see. And, that's the truth of it, man. I tell people like this, it's kind of funny, right? Everyone here believes in wind, but no one's ever seen wind in real life. But you believe in wind because you see leaves on a tree move, you feel the wind, but no one's ever seen wind in their life. You don't need to see God to know that he's real. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's how you know God is real. So that's the faith. You have to stand on God's word. And once you know God's word, you will start renewing your mind. You'll start renewing the way you speak. You'll start, you'll be slow to speak. You'll be quick to listen, which in return will make you make better choices, better decisions of every action you do in your life. Because you'll think about it before you do it. You'll think about it before you say it. So, I always say you got to go to Hebrews 11. And there's all these scriptures, you got to stand on God's strength and all these other things that I've been saying. But at the end of the day, man, that's why I tell you, man, God is real. And long story short, God is your power source. If you ain't connected to God and you're not plugged in, you're going to have a rough road. I always say it like this. I'm a better man with God in my life than without any God in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got him up out the car walking around. That's what I'm talking about. Hey,
yeah, I'm losing just so you guys know, I'm losing the light here.
Okay.
That's why it's about to get dark here.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. Go ahead, Deandra.
We're just about done, actually. But I wanted to ask you, because I was watching one of your interviews, and you were going over your past crimes and what you had done in the past with the breaking into the houses and stuff. And there was a point where I chucked it up to you, kind of got a little cocky and a little greedy. And when you got caught up, the initial reasoning for you doing what you had to do was for survival, right? Initially. Had you reached a point where this was no longer a necessity and you were just doing it just for the hell of it and because you knew you could?
No, I did it. You know what's funny is I'll tell you the story that changed that around. The reason why I got caught is because I did get greedy. So me and my homie, we always used to rob middle class homes, but every time we robbed a middle class home, we would always come up But then, we got to go rob someone else again 2 weeks later because it wasn't like a come up to put us far and ahead. It was a come up to get by. And, you get by for a little bit, then you got to go rob another house to get by again and get by again. And I could honestly say we were like professional house robbers. We never got caught. We've been in some scary situations, and we've been in some situations where we almost got caught, but we never got caught robbing middle-class homes. And I don't say none of this as glory. I don't say none of this as like I'm bragging about it. I don't say none of this. I'm just answering a question that you asked. But again, if we just can't be truthful, then what are we talking about here, right? So I can't make up a story either. So I just got to say it the way that I got to say it and the way that it is/was. But anyways, we were, robbed. And I can honestly say, like, I was a professional house robber. I robbed so many middle-class homes and never got caught, not once. And the reason why I said this, because I was just trying to survive. Homie got to eat. You know what I'm saying? Homie got to put on clothes. And, you live the G life. You want to be G'd up and try to get the girls and all that deal, business, whatever. You got to get the guns. You want to put in work for the neighborhood, the whole deal. So long story short, this is where we got caught slipping. Where we got caught slipping is one day my homie told me, he said, hey, aren't you tired of robbing houses and just getting by? And like, then we got to go. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, let's rob a millionaire's home. And we were like, hey, let's go get a millionaire's home. The first millionaire's home we ever did in our life. We went to some mansions, broke in through the bathroom window. There was a red blinking light that was in the corner. And we saw the light and we talked ourselves into it like, nah, that's a smoke detector. We didn't know. Long story short, we in the house about 3-4 minutes. We had like it looked like SWAT pulled up, helicopter outside. We coming out looking like Santa Claus, because the way we used to rob houses is we went in with nothing, but we would take the pillow sheets and we put everything in the pillow sheets, and that's how we came out. Sometimes back in the days, they would have the keys in the garage, the keys in the kitchen, and the car would be parked in the garage. Sometimes we load up the car, open up the garage, take the damn car with the stuff. Like, we did it all. Like, I got stories left and right. The long story short, we did this millionaire's house and we got caught. And I didn't even know what the hell it was until a week later. I was sitting in jail. I get the police report, and it was a silent motion detector. And that's how we got caught, because of greediness, And so, anyways, that was the first millionaire home we ever robbed in our life, and first time getting caught, all because of greed. And I laugh because there was that show back in the days, Masterminds. I don't know if you guys saw that reality show. They were talking about the reason why criminals get caught is because of their greed. Like, there was this guy who was doing fake Babe Ruth baseballs, and he sold the first and the second one for like $150,000. But when he sold the third and the fourth one, they started questioning the sports store. How you getting so many signed Babe Ruth baseballs? And they started finding out that it was counterfeited. And so, long story, it's always greed that gets the best of criminals. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But it was this though. This is the first time I realized, where I laughed my ass off, and I was like, damn, okay. And this is where I never robbed again. And even after getting caught that time, I was still doing criminal stuff. But I'll tell you the time that turned it around, and I can't even make this stuff up. This is what turned it around, and I never robbed again in my life. Not even a Snicker bar, not even a pack of gum, because I felt guilty because I had the money to pay for it. I'm gonna make this story super quick. It's when I did Fast and the Furious. When I did Fast and the Furious, I had the same bank for 8 years. Before Fast and the Furious, I worked at Burger King, Olive Garden. I worked at Toys R Us, KB Toy Store, Kmart was my longest paying job. I worked at Walmart. I worked at a place called Pizza Mania. I used to deliver pizza. I worked at all kinds of 9-to-5 jobs. I was going to the same bank for 8 years. Same bank, 8 years, right? And all of a sudden, I do Fast and Furious. I get a check. I go to the bank, and the first thing the lady tells me, she goes, do you have a financial advisor? And I said, no. She goes, you should go in the back, and you should talk to a financial advisor. I said, all right, cool. So I go to the back. I'm back there. The manager of the bank comes over. He goes, hey, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is so-and-so. He goes, this is the assistant manager. He goes, this is, and they give me their whole spiel for like 20 minutes. And it's funny. I sat right there and I go, all you guys are funny. I go, I've been coming to this bank for 8 years, and not once have any of you come out around the counter to say what's up. All of a sudden, I'm depositing a fat check, and now all you guys want to come out the woodworks and say what's up. I go, F you all, man. I go, deposit my check and I'm out.
Wow.
And that's a true story. I can't make that up. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So people who made real money back then knows that that's what happened to them, because it
Right.
happened to me. And when I left the bake that day, I was like, damn, that's how the world works.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But here was the crazy part to make my whole point. So after that happened, I never stole again in my life. But you know why? Because I didn't need to steal. Because now I got money and I was straight. I had so much money, I even felt guilty to take a pack of gum or a Snicker bar because I was able to pay for it. So ever since 2001, I never stole again in my life.
Mm. Wow. Testimony is crazy, y'all. Go ahead, Deandra.
So I want to talk about some of your recent projects and your future projects that you may
Hey,
wanna
just so you know real quick too, my phone's about to cut out because it says 10% life battery. So I'm just letting you know it's about to cut. So if it like goes black
Gotcha.
on you, not my fault.
Gotcha.
The Way Out. You did a documentary with other Latino actors.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that was just, that was back then when we had Suspect Entertainment. And what ended up happening was when we had Suspect Entertainment, we were a bunch of thugs on television. And so a lot of schools would start calling us up and they'd be like, hey, you guys are on TV, you guys are making it. Can you come talk to the high school students? And can you tell them how to get in the movies, or that they can do it too and whatever. And so we would go there. We were all disorganized, just so we're clear. We go in like a wrecking ball because, it's just a bunch of thugs talking, and sometimes we would argue amongst each other because we'd be like, oh, it wasn't like that in my hood. It wasn't like that. We're doing this in front of the kids, and we were sloppy. We didn't know what the hell. So as we got better through experience and started learning how to talk better, we had to, organize it more. The reason why that company fell apart is because we had too many chiefs in the hen house, and we let everybody have an opinion/voice, and that was just a wrecking ball, and it just went to crap because it was a bunch of thugs running a company who didn't know how to run a company, who let alone couldn't even get along with each other. So long story short, as things got better through experience, we said, hey man, let's make this documentary. And so we made that documentary to help people, and we were like, hey, let's just make this thing and show them this video. And that's what that was made for, to show kids that, hey, there is a way out of the gang life. You don't need to be a part of that life, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, Noel, the homie Raider Ridge, that's a good one. He said you should have been in Breaking Bad. I think you would have been dope in Breaking Bad, homie. Oh, wait.
Oh yeah, I know. There's a lot of stuff that I wish I could have been in, but I don't trip on stuff like that because I feel like whatever happens to you is meant to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it just is what it is.
Hey, and one more thing. I'm sorry. I want to get this out. Big D asked earlier. I know you have your own company now.
I can't hear you.
Oh, the homie Big D. I know you have your own company.
Wait.
Okay.
I can hear you, but like barely, bro.
Okay. How does someone get in touch with you about your? I know you have your own production company. If people want to be actors or get in touch with you about acting in your company, how do they get in touch with you?
I kind of barely heard you because I don't know what happened, G, but you went soft now. Can you hear me straight?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe because your phone is dying.
I think you asked how can people get in touch with me?
Yes.
Oh, so just hit me up on the Instagram, actor Noel G. Hit me up on the Instagram. Like I said, I do acting classes. I charge. I help people, get in the game, whatever. And long story short, man, I just, we start the conversation there. Now, look, just to be clear, I'm not Kevin Hart of The Rock, but I do get a lot of DMs. I try to get back to as many people as I can. So if I see your DM, I see your DM. If I don't see your DM, I don't see your DM. Again, I'm not Kevin Hart of The Rock, but I do get a lot of DMs, and it's hard to reply to everybody. But I try my best to reply to as many as I can.
Right. And the homie was asking because I know you have your company, like if people want to act and get with your company, you know what I mean, for future acting roles and stuff like that. Like
yeah,
for
like I said, it just depends. Like I said, that's why I'm saying, like, when I do my thing, I do my thing. And if you're there when it's there, then you're there. Like I can't promise no one nothing. I can't say nothing on that. It's just kind of like, if you clever and strategic and you get in, you get in. If you don't, then you don't.
Right.
It just is what it is.
Right. Hey, and one more thing, Noel. I don't know if you can hear me. One more thing,
I can hear you, but like not like I did when you just cut out when you're kind of fading. But go ahead.
Got you. I just want to say from the chat, man, you got so much love in this chat tonight, bro. I just wanted the people thank you. You got a lot. I know you can't see the comments, but you got a lot of love in the chat, bro. Everyone loved this interview. So
it's all love, man. I love people, man. I even try to love the ones that are hard to love. You know what I'm saying? I love everybody, but I mean, I'm just tired of conservative, safe talk. I'm just tired of it. Nowadays, you just gotta tell it what it is, and that's it, man. And the ones who get sad and sorry over it, I don't even care no more. I don't got time to explain myself to idiots. I don't got time to explain myself to people who don't believe. I don't got time to explain myself to people who don't care. I just don't care.
My man.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much for coming on. And we have everybody asking for a part 2, so hopefully we can have you back real soon.
Hey, let me take that back. I care, but I don't care, but I care.
That part.
Like the ones who are hearing it, let's go. And the ones who are not hearing it, just catch up with me when you do.
That part.
Well,
all right, fam.
Thank
Keep
you
in touch with me on the Instagram, actor Noel G. I love you guys, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Much love, man. You already know what it is. And just reach out anytime.
Much love. Thank you, bro. Thank you, homie. You a real one, bro.
I'm out.
Hey. I don't know. You guys seen it? You guys heard it? That was I told you, Deandra. Me and Deandra had a little pep talk before the show, and I told her what it was going to be. I told her this was going to be a classic. I told her, don't be worried. And this was, again, I know we say this every week, people, but this right here has got to be the best one ever. I'm sorry. I know we say this every week, but this got to be the best one ever right here.
No, and shout out to P-Funk, his manager, for making this happen for us.
Ooh. This was a classic. Fire. I mean, the comments say it all. Thank you, everyone in the chat, in the comments. Thank you for all the love and support. And man, this was here. I was excited about this, me personally, because like I said, Training Day personally, not just because he's here. That's my favorite movie, hands down, period. And Noel was in that movie, and I got to interview him. Thank you to Deandra and everyone who made this happen. This was incredible. And the chat approves as well.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like I said, in the future, we can have him back for a part 2. He has such a testimony and so much to say that, I mean, we can't do it in just one interview.
Right.
But we will, like, obviously, as you guys know, we always put the link in the story to be able to watch back and play back.
Yeah, I know everyone got to watch. I'm going to watch this back. This is a classic. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Thank you, God, you know what I mean, for blessing me with great people in my life week in and week out. And thank you, Deandra. This was incredible. Shout out to DD Hairston and the manager who made this happen as well. This is a classic, and thank you, everyone. Yes. Thank you, everyone. With that being said, I don't think there's anything else to say.
No.
I'll let Deandra take us out. We got anything? What we got next week, Deandra? I don't know if anything can top this. I don't even want to know right now. I just want to live off this right now.
For real, that's what I was thinking too. We'll give the people what they want next week, and we'll have another amazing surprise gift.
That part. And with that being said, we out of here, y'all. Great time. Peace and love, everyone. We'll see you next week. Everyone have a blessed week, and we love you all. Peace and love.